friend, this session is for you if you've never picked up dumbbells before. If you're a little bit experienced, this is still a great full body session, but today we're going to be moving slowly. I have two goals here. Number one is that you leave this time feeling a little more confident in some really foundational movement patterns. And number two is that you won't be so sore that you can't move your body for the rest of the week. You'll need a chair, you might want a counter or something to lean on, and you're going to want a pair of weights that you can pick each one up easily with one arm. Let's get into this. We're going to set one weight aside. We'll come back to that later. And you're going to hold the other one like a bow tie. I hold the dumbbell by its butt, and we're going to put it right up at our collarbone. We're going to sit down in our chair, planting our feet. For me, it's a little bit wider than hips width. That's comfy, but don't be afraid to play around with it. That's going to be different for everybody. I'm sitting up tall, so my head is stacked on my shoulders, is stacked on my hips, and then I'm going to hinge my body forward. So what that means is I'm letting my trunk pivot where it connects to my lower body. We're releasing the glutes just a little bit, leaning into this so that my trunk is now on a diagonal, okay? So I've got my weight up at my chest, I've got my feet planted, I've got my hinge going. That's my whole checklist. I'm going to press my feet into the ground to stand up, and then I'm going to think about that hinge as I send my tailbone back and down into that chair, okay? If you want to practice this without the weight so you can be sure that chair is not moving on you, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to go for 10 reps. Ready? Plant the feet. Let's find our hinge. We're standing up. And we're sitting down. Nice. Stand it up. And sit it down. Good. Faster is not better here, so we're going to keep the tempo nice and smooth, really controlling ourselves through this whole range of motion, which is, easier said than done. But if we can control these reps, we're going to get more work out of the same amount of reps, so we don't have to whip out hundreds and hundreds of squats. We've got about 4 left. If you tucker out your set ends a little earlier than mine, that is A-okay. Woo, every movement that we see today, we're going to repeat twice. So if that helps your brain, that's all you need to prepare for. I'm going for my last 2. Here we go, last one, stand it up. And we're going to come back down to a seat and get rid of that weight. Okay, we're going to move into a plank now. You can take this from the floor, but I'm going to recommend that you take this from an angle. I call this an incline plank. So you can grab on with your hands, or you can come down to your forearms, whatever is most comfortable. I want you to think about keeping your knees nice and soft so we can scoop that tailbone underneath us. Elbows or wrists should be stacked up directly under the shoulders, and we're going to go for 30 seconds. That's just time to practice. So again, if your plank ends before 30 seconds is up, it's not a big deal. No stress. All right. Here we go, my friends. Find that plank wherever you are in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Stepping it back. Ooh, thinking about tucking that tailbone underneath me. Keeping my chest nice and open. Maybe you choose to step the feet a little wider apart. Take a nice wide base. 15 seconds down, 15 seconds to go. If you want to tap out for a few seconds and come right back into it, that is always an option. We're done in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. Let's stand it up. Woo! All right, we're going to repeat both of those moves. If you'd like a little longer break, now's a great time to pause the video, grab a sip of water, and then meet me here when you're ready to go again. Otherwise, we're going to go again. We let our legs rest while we were doing our plank, so now it's time to get back into those squats. Here we go. Planting the feet. Woo! Opening the chest. Finding that hinge. Let's do this. We stand up and we sit back down. Nice. We stand it up and we sit back down. You can always do this without the weight. If you're doing that, give me double thumbs up. Stand it up, sit back down. Nice. That's going to keep some more tension in our upper body without having to worry about moving a load in addition to our body. But this is like what we need to practice for getting up off the couch, right? Getting out of the car. Woo! Walking up the stairs. Nice, my friends. We've got about 4 more here, and we're going to go right into that plank. If you think you're ready for it, I'm going to take this one from the floor if you're there and you want a buddy. All right, last one. All right, moving into that plank, you can take it from the incline, you can take it from the floor. I'm gonna take this one from hands and knees, moving my hips into line with my shoulders and my knees. Those are the components of a plank. Whatever your plank looks like today, it's a good enough plank, I promise, don't overthink it. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, let's do this. If you've got hands down to support you, spread out your fingers and grab whatever you've got your hands planted on. Give me a nice, easy little bend in the elbows, easy little bend in the knees. We're halfway done. 15 seconds to go. Keep breathing into the sides of your ribs, into your belly and your back. We're done in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Let it rest. We're going to work our way back up to standing, or if you're already there, you can grab one of your weights. We're going to go into a single arm row. Now, a rowing motion involves the arm, but it also involves the back. So I want you to start thinking back behind you, okay? We're going to do one arm at a time, and we're going to brace our body with the other arm. So we take this hinged position, tail back behind us, nice feeling of plank in the torso, nice supportive bent knees down into the floor, and I'm pressing through my other hand so I can row with that working arm, all right? You can take this from your counter, you can take this same position from your chair if you'd like to go a little lower. You can lean yourself up against the wall if you don't want to go quite so low. I want you to think about driving that elbow back behind you. We're squeezing those shoulder blades together in the back. So it doesn't matter what angle your torso is, we're always aiming back behind us, okay? Here we go. Where'd my weight go? We're going for 8 reps on one side. We'll go right to 8 reps on the other. We'll take a little break. We'll repeat it. Easy peasy. Let's do this. I'm setting myself up in this nice little hunch, crouch, hike position. Let the other arm drop down. I drag that weight back, and I let it go. I drag it back, I let it go. Nice. Don't overthink this one. If you've ever started a lawnmower before, if you've ever paddled a canoe before, if you've ever picked up a heavy bag of kitty litter or something, ooh, I really want you to think of this as a row, using that whole back body. Nice. This is my last one. Woo, and we're gonna stand up between sides. Don't go throwing the weight around while we're down there. Switch arms, completely reset the space, and we'll go into the second side. We drag it back, we lower it down. We drag it back, we lower it down. Was about 4. I'm going 4 more. Keep that slow, controlled tempo. I know it's tempting to speed up, but we want to stay patient through the whole set. Last 2. Last one. Woo, bring it down. Stand it up. Skill that we can start practicing from the beginning of our lifting journey is to always be careful about how we're picking up the weights and putting them down when we're not lifting them in an exercise, right? You'll see people perform beautiful deadlifts and then let their back slump and twist to get the weight back down to the floor. So start practicing now how we handle the weights outside of our exercises, okay? We're gonna let our upper body rest for like 5 more seconds, and then we're gonna repeat this one. You can use these 5 seconds however you choose. Getting back into that row in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. We drag it in. Set it down. We drag it in. Set it down. Nice, my friends. We've got 4 more. We're aiming to feel that squeeze right behind the shoulder blade. Here's my last 2. And last one. Finish out the rep. Let's stand it up. Let's switch sides, right back into it. Here we go. We pull back and down. We pull back and down. Nice if one side feels easier than the other, or if it just feels like it makes more sense in your body. That's something to take note of. It's not an emergency at all. It's just information. Ooh. Next time you do these, you might want to start on the side that feels a little trickier. Here we go. This is my last one. Bring it down and stand it up. All right, my friends, next move, we're going to use both weights. We're going to be pressing up overhead. You have a choice. You can take this standing up, or you can take this sitting down. Sitting down is nice because sitting is great, but it will be a little bit more difficult to keep yourself stacked up underneath that weight because we're cutting off our options for how many joints we can use. Okay, so just something to know if you feel like there's a wild difference between the two. We're going to use two weights. We're going to bring our arms up to this goal post. Now when I set up, I've got my elbows slightly in front of my shoulders. See how we're not here, we're here. This is called the scapular plane, sort of the natural angle that our scapula, our shoulder blades, wrap around our rib cage, okay? So it can be a lot more comfortable to move our arms in this plane, like we're hugging a big tree, than directly to the side. So once we got our arms up with our weights in them, we're gonna press up overhead and then slowly lower the weights back down. Elbows coming to about shoulder height. If you'd like to go a little lower, that's okay. You don't need to bring them all the way down to your sides, all right? Let's grab both weights. We're gonna go for a set of 8 reps here. You can go for 6, you can go for 10. That's gonna depend on how heavy your weights are. I'm gonna sit for this one so you can actually see my dumbbells up over my head. But again, sitting, standing, whatever feels good. All of the cues are going to be the same. Let's stack our spine up tall. Let's bring our arms up to that goal post. Here we go. We press up and we lower down. We press up and we lower down. As I bring the weights up overhead, they're moving slightly towards each other. Don't worry about them touching or not. Just know that we want to keep them close to our midline and not out to the sides. This is 3. Last 2, soften your shoulders. Take a break, wiggle out your neck whenever you need to. Last one. Excellent, bring those weights down and we'll let it go. We're gonna repeat that one again in a second, but first we're gonna talk about the hinge. The mystical hinge, one of my favorites. I want you to stand up tall. We're gonna go hands on the hips. We're gonna think about, like, if you bring in the groceries and your arms are full, how are you gonna close the door? We're gonna bump our hips back, okay? I want you to think about planting your feet. I want you to think about sending your back pockets back behind you. Because we're traveling back in the hips, my upper body does come forward a little bit, but we're not thinking down, okay? It's a back and a forward. Hips come back. At the bottom, I squeeze my glutes to bring myself back up to standing. Sending hips back, squeezing glutes forward. This is the type of thing that's super simple, not so easy, takes years to master. So please be patient with yourself. That's why we're practicing it now, okay? It's a choice if you want to take hands to the hips, hands behind the head, whatever feels better. You can also set yourself up maybe about a foot away from the wall. So when you lean back, you're gonna bump into that wall. It's gonna stop you. You won't fall backwards, and then you can come out of that hole to stand back up to the top. Beautiful. 8 hinges. Let's do this. I'm going hands to hips. We slide back. We squeeze forward. Good. Spread out your toes on the floor. Yeah? Squeeze glutes forward. We slide back. Squeeze glutes forward. We slide back. Squeeze glutes forward. Good, about halfway done. Loosen up your knees. How long can you make your spine? We're here for 3. Last 2. Last 1. Excellent, my friends. Shake it out. We're going to overhead press one more time and then we'll hinge one more time, and we'll be done. You are almost there. All right, let me get my chair back. Let me get my weights back. All right, we can do this. Stacking the spine up tall. Bring those weights up to the goalpost. Here we go. We press up. We lower down. Good. Exhale as you press the weights away from you. Inhale as you come back to the start. Halfway there. Breathing is another skill that feels silly to start with, but is only going to serve you as you start getting stronger, as you start picking up heavier things, as you start challenging yourself more. Last one, best one. And down. Excellent. Bring the weights down. Get rid of them. Goodbye, weights. Let's hinge again. Here we go in 3, in 2, in 1. We go back, pockets back. We press down to get tall. We go back, pockets back. We press down to get tall. You're probably going to feel a stretch over your glutes, down into your hamstrings at the bottom of this hinge. Ooh, we don't need to go any lower than that. Reach for that stretch, find it, then we contract those muscles to stand up. Beautiful, 4 more. Good, last 3. Last 2. And last one. Stand it up tall. Hey, amazing. If this is the first time you've ever picked up weights, can I just say that I'm very, very, very excited for you, and I hope you're feeling proud of yourself. You might want to pair this with a little cool down, a little stretch. I've got one killer stretch move for you. We're going to take our hands to the wall or to the counter. We're going to step back away from those hands. We're going to stretch our spine out nice and long. Allow the head, neck, and shoulders to relax. Easy bend in the knees. Heavy armpits. It is always, always appropriate to come back to the basics. We want to build from a really solid foundation, and I know practice gets boring, but really the basics are classics. Classics are classics for a reason. On your next exhale here, let's dip the tailbone down and let's start to roll it up, taking care to stack our spine up one vertebra at a time. Head, neck, and shoulders come up last. Thank you again for being here. Thanks for spending your time with me. I can't wait to hear about how this went for you, and I hope you're obsessed with lifting weights now, although I know that's a lofty goal. All right. Mwah.